Hey, DOD, how are you? How are you doing? I am doing good. At the last minute, I had several things to discuss, but at the last minute, I decided to, on one subject as far as double standards. So, yeah, I want to discuss that. So, how are you doing? I've been really busy trying to research for more content. Um, it's a lot of things I could talk about, but it's just a lot of things I just don't want to talk about. To me, it's like let somebody else cover it because I'm really not interested. So I'm good, and you, yeah, I'm doing good. Just this heat. Oh, and I know I shouldn't talk about it because I think Vegas is probably a little bit hotter, but this heat, I think it's supposed to reach 100 today. I'm not sure. It feels like it, but I have the air on. Hey, Zero, how are you? Thank you for joining the live. How have you been doing? What you been up to since last night when I seen you on the live? um, DOD that, it's pretty hot in California. So yeah, I wanted to just come on and talk about this one subject. Uh, so if you guys don't mind me repeating a little bit when people come in, then we can get started with the subject for today. And I don't know whether you guys know too much about this. I had to take some notes because I kind of stopped following it. The case between, and I put the name in the comment because I cannot pronounce her last name. All I know is that it's French. You remember that school teacher, Mary Kay, that had that affair with that 12-year-old? And the reason why I titled it the way I did is because if a man had done that, particularly a black man, if a man had done the same thing she did, if a man had dated one of his students, a female, 12 years old, got her pregnant when she was 14, still a minor. Um, she was 34. I think yeah, she was 34. She was previously married, had 4 children. And let me just throw in there that she was 58 now and she just died of cancer July 8th. So she's dead now. Just recently she died. I'm doing well, Marilyn, and you. I'm doing good, doing good. Yes, just recent. Let me get back to the topic. She just recently died a couple of days. Now, the first time she got pregnant was 1996. The second, and then she had a daughter. And she had another daughter in 1998. And you guys remember she served 7 years or 7.5 years, something like that. She's in prison. Um, what you guys think? Flip the script. If a man had done that, I can see him getting a sentence of, oh gosh, 15, 20 years, something like that. But she gets 7.5 years. I'm not sure how much she served. I really don't think she served that whole 7.5 years. I know when she got out, they got married in 2005. Um, and a lot of people were saying, that marriage not gonna work. Well, it worked for a while because I'm sure she was his first. Well, I'm not sure, but I'm just kind of thinking maybe, and she turned that little boy out. They got married in 2005. They separated 2017, and they had just got a divorce last year in August 2019. Okay, did I say that right? Separated in 2017, right? And divorce in 2019. But I thought that would be a very good topic for today because uh, I just couldn't see it being the same scenario if it was a man and then it being a black man. Even if she wasn't even if she wasn't a minor, it's still unethical for a teacher, yeah, to have any kind of relationship other than teacher student, and that teacher is subject to different. I think she did get fired when they really found out what was going on because I remember the first time the police caught them, they were in some kind of park, I think, if I'm not mistaken. They was in the park, and she lied and said that he was 18. And somehow, it started unfolding, and from that day, because I don't even think the 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 officer that busted them thought he was 18. And she was telling the police that the reason why they were out, she was taking him home, and he was babysitting her children. And then she thought she'd better take him home because her and her husband had an argument. So she was, trying to make it seem like, okay, yeah, they would throw that man under the jail, throw away the key, flush it down the toilet. He wouldn't see the break of dawn for many, many years. Exactly, yes. So I know there's a lot of cases with that. I mean, and it seemed for a while that these kind of situations was being back to back to back. And it seemed that it was I'm sure there was a man doing that. Um, but I think the if if it was going on, I'm sure it was, they were being very cautious. I think the young girls may have been fearful to tell, but I'm thinking, and I think this was the case, that Vili, Vili, I can't remember his name, Vili. I think he was bragging. I think that, I think the reason why this came out more and more, he told his friends. And I think that's why they start investigating. And his mother later on wanted to sue the school district, saying that, you know, they allowed her son to be sexually abused. But it was a while before people start finding out. And the school district took the stand like, well, um, nobody knew. We didn't know. So I don't know if that would have, if they would have said that, well, to stay out of a lawsuit. I'm sure they, even if it was a man doing that, they probably would have took that same stand. Um, so because they didn't want to get sued, they probably they would have fired him for sure. Well, they did end up firing her, But I'm just saying that was so a 12-year-old, whether you're a man or a woman, what could you possibly want? What could you possibly have in common with a 12-year-old? To the point where you're being so sexually active that the woman gets pregnant, the female gets pregnant. I mean, I would think at her mind, she was on a slow bus. And I hate to speak ill of the dead, but the truth is the truth, whether you're dead or alive. Truth is the truth. And usually I don't speak ill of the dead. However, I'm just talking about it because I just see things so wrong with that scenario and how it would have played out different for a man. Um, I mean, and he and while she was in jail, he had the two because she had both the children. I think she had the second one while she was in prison, if I'm not mistaken. So he and his mom end up watching the girls for all that time. Like I said, I don't even remember whether she served all 7.5 years. I really don't think so, but I don't. Yeah, she was on a slow bus. What she need with that little 12? Now, I know her and her husband were having problems, but problems or not, you gonna run to a 12-year-old? That shows me that she needed some help. You know, she needed some help, and I don't want to go there, but I will. Um, to me, that would be an insult to the husband. Like you can't take care of your woman, and she gonna run to a child. I mean, and as I remember, he was very upset. And she basically left her kids with him to get with this little 12-year-old. And it, she had to be the one that worked. What he gonna do? I mean, besides all the other things that's wrong with this scenario, but here his children, basically, I guess his mom did. Because he couldn't, McDonald's, even if he went to McDonald's, he couldn't even work at 12. Well, she met him at 12. I think he was 14. But even at 14, can you even get a work permit? I thought you have to be 16 to at least get a work permit. Hey, Damien, how you doing? Welcome to the live. I'm doing fine. How are you doing? And just checking if you guys want to check out each other's page. Um, I don't put it out there that this is a growing channel, but you can do that when you come in. So I'm not against that at all. Um, yeah, how could he take care of that child? But see, to me, she wasn't thinking about none of that. All she wanted was this little young boy. And looking at his picture back then, I don't know. Maybe at first she could pass him off at least close to 18 because I saw a picture of him, and I guess if they had taken the whole picture, I could maybe gauge better. But I saw one picture of him. I saw, okay, you can tell he much older. I think he even looked older than being in the sixth grade, I think. But whatever the case is, she knew. Being his teacher, she knew that how old he was. And at times she kept him after school for detention, if you know what I mean. Um, oh, that's good, Damien. That's good. I'm okay. Um, so what do you guys think? I know you guys had, kind of agreed that a man would have gotten a much stronger, longer uh, punishment sentence in prison. And a black man would have gotten, like you said, he would have been thrown under the jail. I don't understand it. But I know from talking to different guys, may not be the student teacher type deal. I talked to my guy friends, and I was nosy. Even before I got a YouTube channel, I was nosy. I asked certain questions, and I asked guys, when I would see them out and about, or if I go to karaoke, I would see them. And I would ask the guys, um, what was their first encounter? And every one of them told me it was an older woman. Their first sexual experience was an older woman. I asked this one guy that I used to date how old he was. And guys, I was going to say you guys wouldn't believe it, but maybe you would. I just had my mouth open when he told me he was 5 years old, his first sexual encounter with the babysitter. And I told him that wasn't your first, you were sexually abused. She took advantage of you. You you were 5. You can't consent to sex. There's no such thing as a 5-year-old consenting to sex. No such animal. No, no. But I bet you the guys that come in here, maybe not all of them, but I would be willing to bet someone that it was mostly it would surprise me if it wasn't an older woman that introduced any of the guys that came in here. And I don't think the guys would be too quick to tell their friends, yeah, because they want, they brag, I had sex, not knowing they were violated because you wasn't an adult. You can't give consent for that. That's rape. But to for we're gonna stick to the women. We know men do too, but we're gonna stick to the women because you guys know me mostly. I be talking to sisterhood, and I be talking about on this subject. We today we're gonna talk about the men being violated, but except for telling their friends, they want like this particular guy, uh, Billy, Biley. I know I'm tearing up his name. I'm sure he wanted it to continue because he had convinced himself that he was in love with her. And if that was his first encounter and she turned him out, you know, and he hadn't had those kind of experiences maybe with himself, but not with another person, a female, he didn't want that to stop. Think about it. At 12 years old, your hormones raging and whatever. You don't want that to stop. So I think, um, and I think the problem a lot of times is people. I think nowadays it's changing, but I think in the back in the day, people were so quick to. although it happened a lot, they would make sure their daughters knew. Okay, if somebody touched you here, so the daughters were taught if someone violates you or someone, a lot of times they wasn't, but I was much more than guys. But who set the little boys down and told them if anybody touch you, that's not right, and let me know. I mean, I'm only guessing, and I would need one of you guys to enlighten me on it. But who tells who told the little boys about sexual abuse? Because look at, let's take Ti. He's so busy with with his daughter, the one that everybody was mad because he went to the gynecologist with her. But he was so busy watching her virginity. I think when his son started liking girls and he thought there was the way I understand it, there was a possibility of his boys doing that. He didn't look too upset. Oh, my son, my son. I mean, if they're all around the same age, yeah. But if there was an older woman, uh, uh, first of all, I think his son would have told his friends. I don't think he would have been too quick to tell his dad. Marilyn, did you know JT? Oh, do you know JT? JT? No, no. Who's that? Who's that? JT. Is that a YouTuber? Is that a rapper? Is that someone in entertainment? But that doesn't ring a bell. You want to type it all out? If you don't feel like typing, let me know and I can put the link down. And you can get off anytime, if you don't, you can say what you need, you can get back down and stay up if you want, whatever. The choice is yours. But yeah, tell me about JT. I'm going to send you his YouTube link. He's a brother. Okay. Okay. I'm kind of interested now to see what's up with that. And especially because the subject we talking about, so I'm getting ready. I'm sure you know. Okay, I'll drop the link. There you go. Because I have a feeling that's going to be too much typing. That's why. So for want to talk about it, or and then we can change subject or whatever. Just feel free to take the time to say what you need to say instead of typing it all. Hey,
Hello, Marilyn. How are you
hey,
doing?
dear. I'm good. How are you? Hot out there, isn't it?
It is hot, not too hot.
I
And
know.
you're right
And I was
next
coming.
door, so I know what's hot for you too.
Oh, yes, but I think it gets hotter out there when you are. And I would go, before all of this, I would go out there and oh my gosh, I'd step outside, and the heat just knock your breath off, away. But not your breath off. But it was so hot that like Oh my goodness. So I used to travel from one place and stay on the inside and go as long as I could. And then, wait till it's dark if I want to go outside. But yeah, it's hot and it drains
Yeah,
you of your energy. But go ahead, brother, I'm curious about this JT.
yeah. JT is a YouTuber that experienced exactly what you said. His other brothers told you about. I think he was like 5 or 6, maybe 7 years old, somewhere in that range, when it happened to him by an elder or an older babysitter, I believe. And so he
Yeah.
talks about that on his channel all the time.
Wow. Yeah.
You know?
Because you know what that reminds me of, though, too? Remember that movie, Antoine Fisher?
Yeah, yeah.
Based on a true story, his story. And he had problems, because he didn't think it was a good thing. He just, Antoine Fisher and described it. I mean, it really messed him up,
Oh, I'm sure it
where
would. Yeah,
it
yeah.
messed him up.
Because
Uh,
JT is messed up behind it, and he
wow.
talks about, just like you said, why all the women when the women they molest the little boys, they get the passes, or the boys, it's like it's a passage to manhood. But if it was
Hmm.
the other way around, if it was a man that did it to a girl, then it would be all kind of hell for him. So
Uh-huh.
there is a double standard, and he talks
It
about that too.
hmm it really is a double standard. And a 5-year-old and up, they can't process that.
No,
They
not at
little
all.
mindset can't handle stuff like that. And so to me, therapy is much needed.
Yeah,
Do you think whether this JT is getting therapy? Do you know? Have he ever mentioned it?
I think he has. I'm not sure. I don't want to say for sure,
Okay.
but I know he talks about it a lot on his channel. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna um, try to get in contact with him and see if he will come over here on your channel someday. Well,
Oh
I'm gonna give both. I'm gonna pass both your information to each other. But I'm gonna
yeah.
see if he
Okay.
can come over here on your channel and talk. Have a conversation with you about it.
Okay. Um. Let's see. Hold on just a second. Let me get on my Let me get on my phone to get on the channel. Cause you can drop a link if I
Well,
change.
his name is JT, but right now I can't remember what the channel name is.
Oh,
So
okay.
it won't be today, but I'll get it by today, and you guys can talk and set up time if you guys want to do an interview with each other.
Is it just JT? Cause I'm looking on. Let's see. Let me
No,
make.
his name is but his initials are JT,
Okay. It
but
brings
but
me
his
to
channel
it.
name is different. His channel name is, what do you see?
I just see a JT and it's 549,000 subscribers. Do you think that's him?
Yeah, no, that's definitely not him.
Okay, okay,
He may have like maybe 2 or 3 thousand. But
okay.
like I said, I will find him. I will find him, and I will send you the link.
Yeah, because if he would like to, I don't know whether he would do that, want to do that.
Oh, he
What
will. He will, because he's done it on my channel. He goes around to different people's channels and talks about
Oh,
it,
okay. Oh,
and he
okay.
even does it on his channel as well. So yeah, he'll definitely do it
Is
because he's
it
very
is it
very
ju-
passionate about it.
is okay, is women why dress like that by JT Giro 24? Do you
No, no,
think
no, no.
that's
Like I said, his channel name has nothing to do with the initials.
Oh,
Those,
okay,
those are
okay.
his real initials, but his
Okay.
channel name is something totally different. I just got to try to remember what it was, or is, I should
Okay.
say.
Let me know because then what I would do is I would make sure that I put on the community post that I'm having a special guest, so more people, because you know what, I with the men I talked to, which wasn't a whole lot, because you know how you go someplace and everybody just sitting around and we're talking. I just wanted to know because I have figured that, and but I just wanted to see, because
Yeah.
this was after the person I knew said they were 5 years old when that happened. And then, just different things I had heard, and then that just seemed to be a trend, so to speak, without a better, thing to call it.
But
Um,
I'm gonna tell you, Marilyn. See, it's the way society thinks. Because even myself, I thought that way. If a 12, 13, 14-year-old boy hooked up with a 18, 19, 20-year-old girl, that was cool. But it isn't. I didn't realize until listening to JT that is sexual abuse.
mhm,
Anytime you're underage and the female or the male is overage, that's
mhm.
abuse. That's sexual abuse.
Exactly. And a long time, well, I put it this way, because I had worked in the field of sexual abuse, and it was uh, mostly a lot of children under the age of 15. Just, I mean, and and it did start out young. But before I went into that field, and I kind of switched over to different parts of social services, but before I went into that field, I didn't think that way. But when I got into that field and I, was very much involved in that, then I was, oh my gosh. And, the some of the guys didn't want to report it. Like I worked for, volunteer rape victim advocate, and people don't realize that men, boys, teenagers, grown men, and I'm not even just talking about prison, get raped, but it's
Yeah.
not reported because if it's an older person, the shame comes in. You know what I mean? the
Right.
the the stigma of a man violated me, or a woman, because we got those cases too, or a woman violated me. Because most people will look at him and say, how she gonna violate you? Because there have to be some action, if you know what I mean, on your part. I can't answer all them questions. All I know that when the guys came forward, I didn't want to take those cases because I didn't think that I would, because the advocate is just there for support. We
Yeah.
don't really ask questions. We didn't ask questions. It's like you tell me what you want to tell me. We don't ask the questions. As an advocate, we don't ask the questions. We're just there for support. And I didn't think a man would talk as freely to me either. So I didn't want to go out on those calls. But
Yeah. I
yeah,
understand.
tell him, uh, I have an email uh, that's in the description area. Even in this live, I put it in there.
Okay. All right.
And I have to. Yeah, you contacted me. Yeah. So he can contact me with that. With the information on when he could do it, or we could set something up that we can communicate back and forth. But I just, what sparked me to want to talk to this is the article that came out that Mary Kay just died of cancer. And I said, "Oh my gosh, that's the school teacher that was having sex with the sixth grader."
Yeah. Yep.
And I just tossed the other topic out. And I said, you know what? This needs to be addressed. This needs to be talked about. And this is a double standard, especially, because I had to refresh myself of her case. I hadn't thought about that in a long time. And I'm saying, even if she served all those years, which I doubt she served 7.5, I thought to myself, oh, if that was a man, there's no way he would see the light of day after 7.5 years. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And to get her pregnant twice, and one of the orders was, you guys are not supposed to have communication with him, and then you contact him, and you go someplace in the car, and the police catch you, and that's why she went to prison, because when she first was tried for that, they since she had no problems before, I think they were just gonna give her probation, and that in itself is I don't even know the word to use for that. Get somebody like that probation. You didn't have to get down. You didn't have to get down DOD unless you wanted to. Um, but what made them send her to prison, because the judge put a stipulation: if you contact him again, you gonna serve out your sentence. And she contacted him again and got pregnant that second time, and then she spent all her pregnancy in prison. She had her baby in prison. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that out because the subject is uh, clearly double standards. I don't care what if she was fired. I don't care if she did serve time in prison. It would be worse for a man. So, did I knock you off? Or did you go off? Did I accidentally knock you off, DOD, or did you do that? Let me know, because you can come back on if you want to, because there's the online, there's the link if you want. But I'm not really sure who's still in here. And some of my regulars are not in here, except for Zero, and he probably at work. Did I knock you off, DOD? That was an error if I did. My regulars are late because I didn't come on yesterday. Maybe they thought I was going to take a vacation. I should have shared myself out. Hold on, guys. I'm going to share myself out. I'll be right back. Oh, there you go. Hey, Angel, how are you doing? I know that was so funny. Me and General, we I couldn't stop laughing. I could not stop laughing because it was funny when you dropped down from the live. You guys dropped down at the same exact time, and I we thought that was hilarious. We laughed for a couple of minutes, I think, but that was funny. Hey, Rue, how you doing? I just joined, but never say anything. I just like listening. Found you from Sandy Cake. I remember you. I remember you. Yeah. Did you hear the topic? Because I know some new people in here, and I don't mind repeating things. But if you were, like they say, in the bushes listening, then you probably heard our conversation. But just to go over it really quickly, I was talking about Mary Kay, and I cannot pronounce her name. Remember, she was the school teacher that dated and got pregnant twice, had two girls by the sixth grader, He was 12 years old when she was dating. I think when they had the first child, if I'm not mistaken, he was, I'm not sure, but they had two. And I think he was 14 when they had the first child. Well, I was letting everybody know that she just died July 6th with cancer. Yeah, she just died of cancer. But the reason for the subject is, are there double standards? Everything that happened in that scenario with Mary Kay. Now just imagine a man getting a 14-year-old pregnant twice. Yeah, 58. You heard it too. Yeah, I just and it was not so much the subject of her, it was just in comparison how it's double standards. Is and I'm not sure whether she served all 7.5 years. She might have. I'm not sure. I don't think so. But they did fire her. She did go to prison. And she went to prison to serve a sentence because the judge gave her a no contact order. And she violated that. And because, I think they were going to have just probation or something like that. But she was sent to prison initially because she violated the no contact order, and then she was charged with rape. But flip the script. If that was a man who did that, if that was a man, is no way, and got a young girl like that pregnant twice. No way he would have just served that amount of time. And I think the only reason why it became more and more that this was really happening, because I don't think he was putting it out there that they were having an affair except to his friends. Because as I stated earlier, what he was a sixth grader, he was 12. Them hormones are bouncing all over the place. And if she was the first, and even if she wasn't the first, making herself available to that 12-year-old, and he's 12, he can brag to his little buddies and whatever. He didn't want that to stop. Because I don't think, of course he's not going to tell his mom or nothing. He didn't want that to stop. And I don't think he was realizing what the damage was being done. And so we kind of switched over, kind of left the Mary Kay thing, that was just as something to compare, the sentence and what happened. Because when it comes to stuff like that, there is a double standard. A man would have been put under the jail if he had done that little girl, and rightfully so. And rightfully so. But what's good for the goose is good for the gander, like the old folks used to say. You know, and they end up getting married, Mary Kay and him. Uh, I think at the time they were together, she was 34, but and she had 4 kids. She was married. They ended up getting married in 2005. They got a separation in 2017, and they just really got divorced last year, in August 2019. So that was the discussion, and hopefully, I was given some information about someone who uh, something happened, and I don't want to say anything because I want him to tell his own story. I don't want to tell his story because I don't know his story. Um, but I was telling the guys on this chat that most of the men that I questioned about when they had their first sexual encounter, they had it with older women. I questioned someone I used to date, and this was a while back. And he said, I asked how old he was, and he said 5. And I told him that was sexual abuse. You can't give consent at 5 years old. You were abused. That was not your girlfriend. That was not your partner. At 5 years old, even at 12 years old, like in the case of Mary Kay and Viley, Viley of I think is Vili or Vali, whatever his name was. I can't pronounce it right up, but Vili. He was 12 years old. He's a minor, so he could not give consent. Plus, she violated the fact that she violated laws and school uh, policies because she was the teacher and he was a student. If they were in college, they would only, from what my research is, they could only get together if they were not teacher student anymore. If they were not, if that role wasn't there where, you know, say both of them are of legal age, the student and teacher still not supposed to be together until that teacher is no longer, you're no longer the student from that particular teacher. So, um, it you could keep on and keep on, but like I said, I don't. The reason why I was questioning people because I was telling DOD, I come from that background of child, working in social services for child abuse. And when you're reading those reports, or you're an actual person in the facility where they housed the minor children, because they couldn't find, for whatever reason, couldn't find group home for them, taken away from their parents. So, it's a lot of cases why that would happen. But that's what's, back in the day, that's what sparked me to kind of, because I had heard that from guys, heard that scenario. So then I start asking guys, and it just, I'm hearing left and right that an older woman turned these young guys out. And like I said before, we're talking about the double standard as far as women today, and because like I told people, I'm for the sisterhood, so but today I gotta see. I'm looking at the man's perspective today. We know it happens both ways. We know that men have done that forever, seem like. But today, I I'm concentrating on the double standard of if this was a man dating his student or minor, his student, which is a minor, 6th grade. What have you in common with a 6th grader? Like I said before, nothing. And not even sex, because you're mastering and you're um, giving that minor, you've set a certain standard for that minor now, where you expose them to something that they're not ready to be exposed. You know, minors shouldn't have sex. Their mind can't process really what's going on. So to me, for a woman to get away with only serving, and not even all of that, I don't think 7.5 years, that's a double standard. Some men would be put under the jail for doing that. Throw away the key, flush it down the toilet. I just, on this particular one, I just had to look at the man's point of view on this one because men don't report a lot of things, and women don't report all the things that happen to them, violations, but a lot of men don't report a lot of things. And what does it do to a young man, 5, 6 on to what, 12 in the Mary Kay case? What would it do to their mind? Um, I would just see that person having all kind of problems, relationship problems. Oh, I can't even think of all the problems that's possible that would, that would start that person just having some weird thoughts about sex, addictions. I can see a person to try to suppress those feelings they don't understand. And as they get older, I can see them getting on drugs because of that. Um, Maybe at a young age, and then, thinking that's the way it's supposed to be. I can see them growing up with a sex addiction. So it's just so many things that can stem from a child being exposed to something that they can't process to. We're talking about sex, being exposed to sex. Now you have set up, you know, you mess with the in the case that the guy I was talking about that I questioned, and he was 5 years old, his first sexual encounter, and like I said before, you can't. That wasn't your girlfriend. You were sexually assaulted. You were raped. That's not your girlfriend. At 12, which is the case of Mary Kay, at 12, that's not your girlfriend. You're not in love with her. You don't know what love is. And I think, in my opinion, the reason why they stayed together so long, because they stayed together for a long time, Mary Kay and the little and Lily, Lee, Viley, or something like that. I'll just call him V. I think the reason why they stayed together for so long is he probably thought he was in love. Like I said before, he thought he was in love. That's not love. You don't know what love is. So I think the reason why he stayed with her at those many years is because he had an idea that that's the way it's supposed to be. That this older woman, she influenced the way he thought about relationships. Okay, he's I never see anything about him. Like I said, I haven't thought about this case in years until it was on the on the news. It was online actually that she had died from cancer. I hadn't thought about that. But once I saw her name and it clicked instantly who she was, then I said, "Oh my goodness." I just read that article earlier today. I said, "Let me just take some notes. Let me take some notes." And I don't really want to talk about that per se. I just wanted to talk about the double standard as far as if this had happened, and it was a man with a little girl. You guys know what would have happened. that man will probably still be in jail. So I have been on an hour. Um, I didn't want to put the names in the title. I want to just organically grow on my lives and not based on uh, a topic, and then I don't see the people anymore. Um, and a lot of times I'll put open discussion because I just don't want a large article when you know based on the subject. I'd rather have people who hang tough with me no matter what we talk about. I'm not into clickbait. You know, I've changed my whole view on how I want my channel to be. Yes, I want to be monetized, but hey, I don't want to have to, put titles to bring people in. Okay, my title is Are the Double Standards for Men and Women. That's what I want to talk about. But this Mary Kay, I had every intentions, using her as an example, and there certainly are double standards on certain things when it comes to women. Men can do more of this, and this. Hey, General, how are you? What you say, Angel? You never run away from kisses like Esprit did, or else you would melt my chocolate heart. General, I'm gonna tell you. Oh, before I start, um, how you doing? How are you doing? I thought about that and I laughed. And even when Angel came in, he mentioned it. But I'm telling you, later on when I was cooking, I'd come home and I was cooking or whatever. I thought about that and I cracked up. I laughed so hard when you said that, and I had to explain to Angel that because he was talking about SP was running away from his kisses, and I started laughing. I told him that it was funny because he got off and SP got off at the same exact time, and it just it was just funny. It was just funny to me. But yeah, how much did you hear with the subject? I can go over it again. Um, get your input on it. Did you hear what we were talking about? Or did you just come in general? And stop me if you heard it. I was just talking about. Did you hear about the case in the UK about Mary Kay? She was a school teacher, and she dated her student, which was 12 years old. She ended up getting pregnant twice, had two girls. The last girl, she served time in prison, so she had the little girl in prison. And of course, his mom took care of the girls. Um, the reason why I was saying it's a double standard is because if there was a man that had dated a 12-year-old sixth grader, got her pregnant twice, and I'm just going to go through it quickly because whoever's in the chat probably heard it before. But what if it was a man? He wouldn't have got off with 7.5 years. He would have he would have been doing some serious time, and I believe that he would have been doing some serious time. And my thing is, okay, if it was a man, but if it was a black man, he would have been doing some serious time. Hold on just a minute. My dog is, I don't trust something he doing. I gotta go check on him. They too quiet. I'll be right back. Okay. Yeah, they like kids. You can't just leave them if it's too quiet. And I know they wasn't asleep, but anyway, that was more so the subject more than Mary Kay. I just used that for an example. Um, and how messed up they can be for, and we're talking about men today, and I know it's messed up, the other way around, but I'm just talking about how this affects men. And I wanted to talk about it because, like I told you before, I had worked back in the day. I had worked with child abuse victims, and then in getting older, I would ask guys when was their first encounter, and how old they were, and asking them, was it, who who was their first encounter with. And all the guys that I did talk to, it was an older woman, older babysitter. None ever said a teacher, but it was always a older woman. And I know, all the men that has had encounters is not, but I just found it very interesting, um, and sad that it was older women. And one guy that I used to date, one guy that I used to date, I was just making sure I read all the comments. He said he was 5 years old, and I let him know that was you were abused. You did not give consent at 5. That is not your girl. That wasn't your girlfriend. You were sexually abused. Um, you don't give consent at 5. You don't give consent. I mean, when you're a minor, you don't give you don't have you can't give consent to an adult thing. And how messed up is it for a grown woman, and at the time she was 34 and he was 12, mess with a kid. So that was the subject, General. I just want to go over it quickly because I know you had just come in. But DOD was on. I think he's off now. And he's going to hook me up with someone that can really give us more insight on the man's perspective. And so I'll post that so it, and I can't tell you because he's going to communicate with me with through my email. And so he's going to uh, tell of his experience. And like I said, I'll let you know because I don't want to tell a story because I can't tell a story. But that will be, in my community post for him to come on and be on the panel. Marilyn, this type of abuse is very common in my life. Yeah, it's more common than what people think. But when I worked in, and and I know there was child abuse, but I'm saying the double standard was the punishment that this Mary Kay got, 7.5 years. If it was a man doing it, it would have been much more, you know. I mean, it should be a punishment no matter what, man or woman. But back in the day, used to say, "What's good for the goose is good for the gander." Okay, if she was a man and did the same thing, what would you give her? Okay, then that's what she should get. Because she a woman, she still, and he probably don't think he messed up. I think later on he'll look back as he get older. Yeah, he might have realized it now, but if not, I think he'll look back at one stage of his life and see how messed up that situation really was. His mother wanted to sue the school district, but the district was saying, we didn't know, you know, we didn't allow anything. It's against our policy, paraphrasing. It's against our policy. And they did fire her. Whoop de doo. They were supposed to fire her or anybody that did the same thing. But she died. Mary Kay died July 6th, a few days ago. I just read the story today because this wasn't gonna be the topic. I said, no, I'm gonna change because it is a double standard. And this time I'm gonna have to, look at the guy's point of view. You know me, I'm all for the sisterhood and but for this time I have to I wanted to look at the how the guys would be treated. And the guys wouldn't be treated the way she was treated. A black man would not be treated. Like I say, he'd still be in jail. Like, but she's dead now, so but that's what sparked that article. That's what sparked me to talk about this particular subject because it's so many things that men get to do, and then we're looked at some kind of way if we do it. So I said, this time, I want to get on a man's point of view or how it would happen if this happened to a man. And if that happens, we've been told that when that happened, the people in prison, let's just say, if a man do something like that, he better not drop the soap. So I don't know what happened to her. I don't know whether she's looked at some kind of way because she violated, and that's the word for it. Then they got married and everything, but she violated him when he was, no matter how you look at it, she abused him. And I hope he got therapy. I never seen anything, but like I said, I stopped following the story. It wasn't for a long time. It just wasn't anything to follow to my knowledge. Yes, there is a double standard in these circumstances. The female abusers all get empathy, but the man gets crucified, and you know that. Yes, it's like like I said, if you go to prison, there's a few things when you go to prison, okay, oh, they're gonna get you. Like I said, don't drop the soap, they're gonna get you. But I don't know if she had that kind of experience. I don't know. I don't All I know is she had her second baby in prison. Uh and if she spoke about how prison life was and how what she did affected her as far as getting along with the other inmates, if she spoke about it, I'd never seen an article. You know, I'd never seen anything. But yeah, uh, let me just repeat: DOD is going to. He knows someone, and they're a YouTuber. But they go around to different people, other creators' channel, and he tells about his experiences. Which that's all I must say, because like I said, I don't know his story, so I can't tell it, and I wouldn't. I'd rather him tell his story. Um, yeah, and I'll let you know. I'll let you know. I'll put it in my community post, but if anybody missed, God, it's a replay. So anyway, General, I'm gonna let you go. It's been over an hour, and I don't want to beat a dead horse. Uh, unless you want to say something, I'm gonna end the live right now. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling, rested. A little hungry, but like I said, I'm not gonna beat a dead horse. I'm gonna end it here, and I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully, have a great evening, great day, great weekend, and I will see you when I see you. Thanks always for coming through. Have a good evening.